A man of character, responsibility, and resourcefulness. Become that man and join us on the journey towards manhood, finding a better person within. Embrace Growth is offering the Honor, Integrity, and Mastery workshop in Toronto, Yerevan, and Los Angeles. Sign up today at embracegrowth.com and see the transformation in your life.
The beginning of all transformation begins with awareness, with awakening, with bringing into your awareness that which has been in the dark. They call that enlightenment, bringing lightness into the dark, or bringing something that's been in the dark, suppressed, hidden, secret, unknown, and yet known by the subconscious, up into the light, if you will, of the conscious mind. Then you have a choice. Then you have choices about your actions. You have choices about what you were going to do about that. And that's where transformation begins. When you begin to make choices that actually move things forward and pull you up out of a place where you've been suppressed, depressed, held back, or limited in some way by your own mind, then your self-realization begins to cause transformation in the world and cause transformation in other people. So like I said in the beginning of the show, many people have insights, they have realizations, they have sudden growth experiences like the ones we have designed our programs to produce. If you knew what causes transformational experiences, you could reliably produce a transformational experience in yourself and in others. So this is what we're up to at Embrace Growth, is reliably producing those kinds of transformational experiences where people's subconscious or hidden thoughts, fears, and pains and wounds and angers and frustrations those things that most people say, like the book that I was talking about earlier says, I don't want to talk about it. Bringing those things up into the conscious mind and actually beginning by talking about it, communicating. And once you begin to communicate about something, it brings it up into your awareness, and now you have some choices about what to do about it, how to work with it, whether that's working for you or not, or even whether or not, in many cases, that is even a reasonable or sustainable fear, logic, resentment, anger. You know, some of the things that we are suppressed about are so illogical that when you bring them up into the conscious mind, you go, I don't even know why I've spent my whole life being upset about that. You know, I don't know why I've spent my whole life compensating for something like that. That's ridiculous. It would seem, I mean, I'm smiling, but it would seem that the subject of male depression and a secret legacy of male depression would not be something to smile about. And yet, when I see the men from our workshops who are overwhelmed in many cases with joy, with love, with compassion, with wanting to share their life and make a difference. The only word that I can find to describe them is hero. We call them heroes because they're my heroes. You know, if you wanted a hero in your life who would do whatever it takes to make life better, to overcome their weaknesses, to face their fears, to address their challenges with honor and integrity, and to bring forth their true strengths, and to acknowledge their weaknesses and to share them with others, if you wanted to find a word for that, the word I found was heroes. The word we call them heroes. And so the heroes that have graduated from these programs have brought that transformation into their lives. And the ones who did not, the ones who have had this realization and this awakening, and they've kept it for themselves, or they tried to claim it as something that they came to on their own or whatever, their lives have sort of leveled out. It still has elements of the past, and some of the same issues and problems that have always been there anyhow have continued, and they returned to a state of depression or suppression, but their ego or pride won't let them admit it, so they cover for it. And this is what we were talking about, the grandiosity from the victim position. Now, our training young boys in bringing them into manhood, the rituals traditionally had to do with taking them out with just the men, scaring the hell out of them, or putting them in a very painful situation to see just how much they could endure. And, you know, this was coming from the point of view that a warrior had to be tough, a hunter had to be tough. And so they were preparing boys for a very tough and painful life by teaching them self-discipline, teaching them to suppress their fear, to overcome their fear, and to not connect with it. In other words, not let the fear make them run away, right? Because a warrior that runs away, we call that what? A coward. We usually shoot them in the back. Somebody does, right? And so they were in teaching the boys to disconnect from their natural emotion. A very clever and unfortunate thing took place. You cannot have compassion, intimacy, tender feelings of love from a place of being cut off and withheld. You see, when you're disassociated from emotion, when you're held back from emotion, emotion is walled off, then your ability to have relationships with others is severely limited. And so look at your father, look at your father's father, look at yourself as a father, look at yourself as a teenager even now in your abilities if you're a man, or women, look at the men in your lives, and you know, very common thing that we always hear is, you know, he doesn't express his emotions, he doesn't talk much, or he never shows me his emotions, or he never shows he loves me. And men, on the other hand, have come to view that as a feminine aspect. You see, women have the wisdom to know that we relate to each other better, we get into relationship, and we grow more intimate when we actually share our weaknesses and our vulnerabilities with others. When we share our weaknesses and our vulnerabilities with others, women have always known this, then we find a way through communication, women particularly, find a way through communication to resolve these things and to grow and develop using what we call the wisdom of the women, yes? Men, on the other hand, don't show their weaknesses or their vulnerabilities, so they live as an island, they live as a lone ranger, they live in a world of their own. Even when they completely love and admire another man, it's kind of like they go, nice shoes, you know, or how you been? You know, very few words, just not that communicative, you know, and that means we're in relationship, right? And or we should get together and have a beer or watch a game, or, you know, whatever it is that men are doing that causes them, in other words, their point of relationship is an outer activity that has them get related. Now, I'm not saying that's inferior. I'm just saying that that's how it is. Okay, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be that way. I'm just saying that that's how it is. I'm not saying that's a problem or offering a solution for that. I'm pointing out that those have created an environment, those circumstances, that training, that development of human being, of male human being, has created an environment in which boys and men have become more disassociated and women have become more associated and intertwined with each other. And the biggest complaint that I get from daughters about their fathers, or wives about their husbands, girlfriends about their boyfriends, if I broke it down into the conversation that's behind the words that they're telling me, is they're upset that he's not a better woman. Most women are upset that their man is not a better woman. He doesn't relate to me like my girlfriends do. He doesn't talk to me. He doesn't show his feelings. He never shows his vulnerabilities. He doesn't share the intimate things in his life because he comes from a tradition that is so ancient and so profoundly grounded in our neurology, literally in the genetics, the DNA of a masculine being is designed to be strong and not show weakness. It is designed to, and emotions are vulnerabilities. Do you have anything to say about your emotions? Very little, right? You just have them. They have you for the most part. Most people don't ever have anger or have sadness, like something like, you know, I had breakfast and then I had some sadness this morning, you know, and then it passed. No, the sadness has them, and then the sadness runs their life, or the anger runs their life and makes the decisions. We didn't get stupid when we got cut off. I'm saying we as men. We didn't get stupid when we got cut off from our emotions. In many ways, we became extremely intelligent, and we developed the instinct or the instant ability to judge something by the way it moves, the color, the shape, the size, the velocity. You know, why do you think men play games in which they are trying to get a projectile of some kind, a ball or a disc or something, or an arrow or a bullet or something into a small space? Because we have developed this ability, and we love that ability because it's a strength. You know, why do men love things like engineering and building and anything that involves thinking in that kind of a way? That became a strong suit. A strong suit is something that you're good at, that produces results, that causes you to be successful. You usually like it. It's something you usually like to do, and that you're good at, and that you're known for. People know you. They say, this guy's a really good mathematician, or a lawyer, or a builder, or a fighter, or a race car driver, or whatever it is that you're known for, that you're good at. And here's the catch. Whatever that is, whatever your winning formula, your outstanding characteristic is that you're good at, was all designed and made up by a child, you, when you were a child. It was all designed and made up by a child as a reaction to, as a compensation for, something that you failed to be. Some inadequacy that you felt within yourself, true or not true. Whether you were truly inadequate, it didn't matter. At that moment, when that thing happened that smacked you, that hit you, that hurt you, that impacted your life in some way, profoundly, in a very difference-changing way, and I'll talk about that in a minute. How we get trauma is we could get it from words and circumstances, but very often it's accompanied by some kind of a physical impact, whether it's a hit, a smack, a shock, a sudden loud noise, but there's a physical impact of some kind that solders that welds it into our nervous system so it doesn't go away. Okay, it's like there in your nervous system, charged up, ready to go. And part of your nervous system that it is embedded into is a primitive, we call it the reptilian mind, and the reptilian mind does not have thinking and it does not have time. It's just on. Okay, the reptilian mind is like a snake. It doesn't miss. It's very accurate, and it's instantaneously, and it precedes any ability to think about it, control it, or consciously override it. It precedes it. It's much faster. So that when something's coming at your eye, you blink faster than you could even think. You don't even realize something's coming at your eye yet. Or something comes at your head, you move your head out of the way before you even have a chance to think about it. It's instant. The reptilian mind did that for you because its job is to keep this physical body alive. That's its job. That's what it's designed for, and it's very, very good at it because look at you, you're still alive, right? With all the projectiles and the things and the stuff that could have happened to kill you in your lifetime or in the lifetime of humanity, we have somehow managed to survive. And not only survive, prosper very well. So I'm glad we have a reptilian mind. However, the part of you that gets shocked and traumatized as a child doesn't have a sense of time. Therefore, the reptilian mind, when something happens that shocks it, it's still happening right now. It's always right now for the reptilian brain. It's never tomorrow or yesterday. There's no reasoning there. No thinking, no reasoning. Something happened, it's happening now. It's always now. So when something gets soldered into you as an infant, as a child, either by a parent screaming and slapping your face, or by a molestation or a rape, or you could have fallen out of a window or off your bicycle. Somebody you loved very much that, you know, you wanted so much for them to hold you tight and tell you how precious you were to them. They could have pushed you away and said that, you know, said something bad to you, or you felt that repulsion, that push away. Many, many, many things, the reason I talk about these things is because I want you to remember there was a specific incident in your life in which you made a decision. Now, how you responded to that, whether you got afraid and got little, whether you got cute and smart and clever or talented, whether you got manipulative, whether you got angry, whether you got forceful, whether you ran away, whatever it is that you did to deal with that circumstances in life at that point as an infant, that's the best you could do. That's what you had. You wouldn't act that way today if you had a choice, but you still are. Okay? You wouldn't act that way again today if you had a choice, is my point. Now you're big and grown and strong and smart and wealthy and good looking or whatever it is you are. Okay? You've compensated for that lack of ability to be strong enough, to be big enough, to be smart enough, to be fast enough, to be loved enough. Whatever the circumstances were, those circumstances are now gone, except that you keep them around. Whatever those circumstances were, you did something to compensate for it, and whatever it is you did, congratulations, it was successful. You're still here. You didn't die. You didn't cease to be. Your heart didn't stop. Your lungs didn't stop. Your brain didn't stop. You're still here. Okay? So you successfully survived a life-threatening or seemingly life-threatening. If your parents yell at you and slap you in the face and you're a little child or somebody roughs you up or molests you, it seems like you're going to die. So to a child, what would not be life-threatening to you and me as large, strong adults would be life-threatening to a child, and to their nervous system, to the reptilian brain designed to keep you alive, it's going, they're killing me right now. It doesn't even have words for that. It just responds as if it's in danger. Whatever it is that you did, it worked, and you went, that works. That worked. And so you begin practicing, without consciously practicing, that same avoidance strategy, that same strategy throughout your lifetime. And you get better and better at it. You know, by the time you're 4 years old, you've got it down already, okay? But we call it a personality. Oh, isn't he cute or she cute? They have this little defiant personality or whatever it is, right? And then by the time you're a teenager, you've had enough experiences like that one, you know, that reminded you of that one, even though you don't even consciously remember the original experience anymore. And it has become a habitual way of being. So if your response was to get angry and fight back, then guess what? Every time something comes up that challenges you, scares you, threatens you in any way, you get angry and fight back. Even if it's just something that somebody said, you know, even if there's no threat there whatsoever, and your response is to be angry because, hey, that works. It always works. It's reliable. It's all I got, right? And basically it is all you got. By the time you're a teenager, that's pretty much all you got. You got one thing that you do pretty good and it works. Then by the time you're in your early 20s, you start to get another kind of experience. And by that time you've had enough, you know, what's the big important thing for teenagers is to be accepted into a group of people and to not be rejected, to be a part of the clique or the gang or the group, you know, to have the right hair and the right shoes and the right clothes, and so that you fit in and you're identified with part of the gang, right? Or if you're really cool, then you like have your own thing, which means you're the gang of misfits that doesn't match anybody, and that in itself is an attempt to establish an identity, and it's just part of the winning formula. It's another winning formula. Today they have this saying that I'm so sick of hearing, thinking outside the box. That is such an old metaphor that most people don't even know where that metaphor came from, and I'm not going to tell you. Okay, go look it up. But you know, people say, oh, you know, this company thinks out of the box, or I always think out of the box, you know, because it sounds cool, but nobody really knows what it means, or few people do. So you're one of the misfits, or you're one of the ones that fit very well, you know, maybe you're part of the gang, okay? But by the time you're in your 20s, you've already developed another strategy to go with this other one. So if that strategy, that social strategy doesn't work, you always fall back on the original one. You know, the fear, the running away, the fighting back, the cleverness, the charmingness, the intelligence, the manipulativeness, whatever it was that you developed as a child, you can always fall back on that if this new social persona doesn't work. And then by the time you're in your 30s, you've got this so nailed that you've made a career of it. You know, you're that kind of father or mother if you don't have a career and that's your career. In other words, you're known as this now, whatever it is. this guy's really smart, this guy's really clever, or this woman's very charming, or this one's really good at math, or this one, watch out, they got a temper. So you're known as this. You have trained the people in your world to relate to you as this automatic way of being, which you have nothing to do with. You can't even turn it off if you wanted to. If somebody came along and threatened you, either by they want to take your job, or they're going to steal your woman, or they say rumors about you, or however you're threatened, whatever threatens you, you're going to lose your money, your wife tells you she found another man, whatever, you will go back to this winning formula. You'll usually go back to the previous one or the one before that. And if you find that those winning formulas are bankrupt, in other words, none of them work to get you out of this situation, then you go into what people call depression. You'll go into a if you get resigned and you decide that, well, nothing that I know to do, I don't know what to do, works, do you go, I think I'll call a therapist, or I will study and grow and overcome this weakness in myself, or I will become a better, stronger person because everything that I've known is not enough. No, you don't do that. Most people do not do that. Most people go into a secret depression, but they don't want anyone to know that they're depressed, so they act like they're not. And in order to compensate for being depressed, they usually will, get some new clothes, or get some makeup, or have some injections, or get something, lifted or taken down, or whatever. They'll dress themselves up so as to appear to the outside world to be more successful, more happy, more fulfilled than they truly are. And inside, they're never satisfied, they're never fulfilled, and maybe drinking too much, or watching too much porn, or smoking too much, or doing something that they know is destructive to themselves, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, tearing themselves down on the inside while building themselves out on the outside. We call this the hollow man or the hollow woman. They're empty on the inside. And I know that you know what I'm talking about, and I know that you know people like that in your life, and you may be one of those people. Hollow inside. There's nothing on the inside to support the show that's going on the outside, because you didn't find the substance within yourself. You didn't get to the source of the thing. And so there's a lot of hidden alcoholism, a lot of hidden addictions. In other words, they're not only just hidden from the rest of the world, they're even hidden from the addict themselves. The addict themselves says, the first thing they say is, well, I'm not an addict and I could stop anytime I want, but I just do it because I like it, or enjoy it, or it feels good, or, my friends do, so I just do it socially, or whatever it is that they're doing. And then at night, late at night, down in the kitchen when nobody's watching, they go and do whatever it is they do. They overeat, they drink, they do whatever it is you do, compensate for the emptiness, and to not have to feel what you already know. When men pursue addictions, and let's face it, we all have some kind of addictions. I'm addicted to coffee. Heck, it's in the middle of the afternoon, I'm having a coffee, okay? Probably if I didn't have it, I would be okay, but I enjoy it. Common addict talk. I just enjoy it, so I'm having one, right? It's addict talk. We pursue these addictions that are designed to have us not feel what we already know. The fact that you already know it doesn't make it the truth. And I'm going to tell you some of the things that men know about themselves. And then they don't face it because it's just some kind of a doubt that they really haven't confirmed, and they don't want to confirm. Most men, I'm going to say all men, okay, and you can challenge me on that if you want, all right, think they're not big enough. And by that I mean big enough, okay, smart enough, rich enough, handsome enough. In other words, there is a sense of inadequacy because, well, when we first got this idea, it was actually true, because we were not men, we were children. We were children, and we were inadequate. You did not have the physical strength, intelligence, mental, emotional, and psychological circuitry in your brain and body to handle circumstances that came up in your life and challenged you as a child, and that's how you got traumatized and made up something to compensate for it, so that you didn't have to feel weak and afraid and threatened for your life and terrified. So you made up, as a child, something that a child would make up to compensate for this weakness in your life. And guess what? This child has been running your life ever since. And because you subconsciously know that, that's what I mean. That subconsciously you know. You won't ever admit, even to yourself, but you know that inside there's a fragile, wounded little child that is terrified and gentle, like a little girl, like something that you want to protect, something that needs protection. No man wants to come to terms with the fact that that's inside of him. That in itself is horrifying to most men. No, I'm bigger than that. I'm stronger than that. I'm never going to show that to anybody. And so these are the things that are driving men forward into a world in which they become more and more disconnected, less and less able to achieve intimacy, because remember I said earlier, intimacy comes from sharing your vulnerableness. You cannot be invulnerable and intimate at the same time. You cannot. I'm going to go ahead and take this call. Thanks for watching. This is Gregory, and you are live on the air.
Hello, Gregory. How you doing?
Excellent. Thank you.
My boyfriend, he used to do the Landmark Forum, and he kind of sort of finished the curriculum as well. And in that course, basically, he got to know a lot of, he got to have a lot of female friends.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with Landmark Forum, so that
I was with Landmark Forum for over 36 years, and I was in training to become a Landmark Forum leader. I chose to open Embrace Growth instead and start my own trainings based on my own insights rather than teach somebody else's, which are great. And I love the Landmark Forum. I was just there last night with some of our employees who did the course. So
right.
Anyhow, he did the Landmark Forum and he did the curriculum and he met a lot of girls there. It's a great place to meet girls.
Now, and that's where I
met my wife there.
But now my problem is, I'm not sure whether or not it's still appropriate for him to keep in touch with the female friends that he met through Landmark. According to him, that they shared a lot of stuff. So he did it 2 years ago.
Yeah. And have you done the forum?
Yes, I've done the forum, but I've just done the forum about a couple of months ago.
Okay. Well, look, here's, I'm going to go fast because in a minute they're going to tell me I'm out of time. And I can see where you're going with this. So if you'll trust me, here's what I'll say to you. He's looking for the intimacy. You see, one of the things that happen in those kinds of workshops, whether it's the Landmark Forum or one of the things that we do in our workshops is we do our workshops for women and then we do some other ones for men, because I designed it that way because I basically understood that they process reality completely different. They have completely different priorities. And one of the vulnerabilities in my educated, and I have the authority to say after 36 years, right? That one of the weaknesses of the Landmark Forum, if you will, is that it is not gender specific, and it gives the illusion that, oh, we're all human beings, so we're all the same. No, we are not. Mm-hmm. Okay, we are not.
So do you think that it's still appropriate for him to keep in touch with those women? And
it depends on how much he's touching them, Listen, there was a time in my life when I was kind of one of the stars over there, I mean, I was always there, and there was always lots of women around, and I was very friendly, and I was always, everybody hugs everybody over there, and so, yes. Everybody's like, the women are kind of masculine in that they give you their number and say, call me, and, we'll share, or we'll be in a group together, or, let's go have a coffee or something like that, so they will become sort of the pursuer sometimes.
Yeah, like they send him X and XOXs and I love you.
All that stuff, right? Exactly, right? So there's a sort of like, oh, we're all one, so it's all good, and we're just all in the transformational spirit of things, so let's just all, kiss and hug and give each other little XOXs in our messages, and it's all cool, and yeah, I know you're in a relationship, and tell her I said hi.
Yes.
Right. So having come from that same background, I realized myself at one point, having caused a lot of pain and hurt in my former wife's life, okay, that we would walk into a room and all these women would run up and grab me and hug me and all this stuff and so happy to see me, and she'd be standing there like, Who's that, right? And that, and that, and that, and that, right? Oh, they're just friends. I'm at the forum, so I share a lot. I shared with her in a seminar or whatever, right? But here's what I realized about myself that turned me around and changed my life, and therefore the lives of all of the women and men that I meet. When I can, I share with them. I always had the back door open. There was always some thought that I hadn't even noticed that if this, if anything went wrong, this didn't work out, I could always get a divorce. In other words, the back door was open.
Yes.
Right? If it doesn't work out, look at all these others that I could just go choose from, right? So I didn't realize it at the time that I was keeping future possibilities open for myself in case, my wife and I didn't ever work out. And at the same time, by doing so, I was causing it to not work out with my wife.
Okay.
You see? Now, that was invisible to me, and I was one of the most trained people around there. But it was so much a part of the environment that I was in that it was undistinguished. It was invisible to me. Do you understand? Like water is invisible to a fish.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I was just swimming in it, so what? Water. And what indiscretion? It didn't occur like indiscretion to me, and I couldn't understand why my wife was so jealous and upset about it. Like, what's the big deal, right?
Yes, that's exactly what my boyfriend says as well.
Yeah, what's the big deal? Yeah, well, here's the big deal. I want to open my heart and soul to you. I want to open my physical body to you. I want to embrace you and completely have my life and your life be one life. And in the meantime, you're including and sharing energy that I feel belongs over here with me, given the amount of commitment and openness and vulnerability I'm sharing with you. I would like the same kind of openness and vulnerability and respect coming from you. And I'm not getting it. I'm getting that you want to share that with her and her and her and her. Now, here's the thing. He's not wrong. He's not wrong for being that way. And that's what I understood about myself. I'm just being a man. That's why I separate the men and the women. Men have different priorities. You see, a man could go and fall completely in love with a woman he's never met before just by looking at her. And if she says hi, he's like, ha, right? And another one, the same day. Okay?
Yes.
And then there's the one at home that he totally loves completely. And then there's another one that he just met a month ago who called him up and says 3 words, and he's like, oh,
Yes.
Now, that's not because men are idiots. That's because they have more, can I say this on the air? More testosterone than brains. Okay?
Yeah.
They don't think about because why don't they think about it? Because they lack intimacy. Why don't they have intimacy? Because we've been taught to show that we are invulnerable. We have been trained to be invulnerable. So then we go to Landmark or to one of these places and we have some vulnerability open up, right?
Yes.
The men have some vulnerability. Now they become so much more attractive. Now that they're vulnerable and they cry and they share their feelings, now all the women love him because he's so vulnerable. So he's had some training in how to be. If you'd watched the show earlier, I said most of the problem women are having with men is that they're not better women. I mean, when he doesn't show his feelings, he doesn't talk to me, he's very closed off. That's being a man. The women are very vulnerable. They share their wounds and their hurts and their vulnerabilities with each other, and that's how they get related and they become intimate and they become good friends that way, right? Men don't do that.
Yes.
Right. So that was what the comment was about, is that the men don't share with them like their girlfriends do. They're not better women. When they go to a thing like Landmark or something like that, they become better women. They become better listeners. They become better speakers. They're more vulnerable. They can get in touch with their feelings. They can share their feelings. That's all great. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
But then they lack another specific training about honor and integrity and what it is to be a man and what women need from men. You need to know that he's there for you and only you, and that you're the most important person in his life. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
It would be a lie to say anything else. If you don't want to be the most important person in his life, what are you doing? What are you doing sleeping with him, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You want to be the most important, the only one.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But you don't dare tell him that. Why not?
Yeah.
Because he might run away. But I suggest that you do tell him that. Look, I want to be the only one. I deserve to be the only one. You're the only one for me, and I want to be the only one for you. And if you can't give me that, then you need to go take the Honor, Integrity, and Mastery workshop. That's what I really want to tell you, okay? Because that's the truth, okay? That's where that's where he'll learn it, and nowhere else that I know of.
Great.
You could spend 20 years and not learn what you learn in 3 days in my workshop. And I have spent 40 years learning it, okay? The hard way. And so most men will not learn that much that fast. And so I suggest that you tell them, look, if you're having a hard time, keeping your heart focused in this relationship, then I request that you get some help with that, because I'm putting 100% out here, and I'm getting kind of like 75% for you and 25% that's kind of sprayed all over the bushes over here.
Great.
I want 100%.
Yes.
I'm worth it. I deserve it. And if you can't give it to me, I'm going to find somebody that will. And that's what we teach. We teach women that in the women's workshop. Now, that's a masculine way of saying what I just said. A woman wouldn't talk to a man that way. But basically, that's the underlying conversation.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks for your call. Thanks for watching. And, my wife is on her way back from London tonight. I hear you have a British accent.
Yes.
Yeah. And she just did a women's workshop there. So we'll be there again soon to do the men's workshop. Check it out on Embrace Growth.
Sure, I will. Thank you.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
A man of character, responsibility, and resourcefulness. Become that man and join us on the journey towards manhood, finding a better person within. Embrace Growth is offering the Honor, Integrity, and Mastery workshop in Toronto, Yerevan, and Los Angeles. Sign up today at embracegrowth.com and see the transformation in your life. The Embrace Growth app is finally here. You start by signing in just as you would online, and from there, you'll see all of your account settings. Once in the app, you'll have access to events and all of Embrace Growth's original content. Registering for workshops and seminars is easier than ever, and tools for managing your profile and options are built right in. Schedule private sessions and connect with the global Embrace Growth community. Download it today on the App Store. Embrace Growth has a new home online where you can easily register for workshops and events, order from the online store, and be part of the worldwide community of Embrace Growth graduates. You'll be able to see Dr. Rosita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan in your favorite seminars. Visit us today at embracegrowth.com. Welcome to the Embrace Growth app. There's a new way to communicate and join in. Create your free account online and sign into the app. Manage your profile on the go and choose between English or Farsi. Register for events and schedule appointments more easily than ever. Stream audio, video, and download books all over Wi-Fi or cellular. Sign up for workshops and seminars right on your phone, and access your audio and video library in the palm of your hand. Take your favorite lessons from Dr. Rosita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan with you. Download it today on the App Store.
Mr. Morgan, we talked about creating a future and then getting help from what makes you really alive and what gives you goosebumps, and something that when you talk about it you get excited. So now can you please tell me how I can apply this to my everyday steps, to my real life? How can I move towards my future? How can I apply it?
Well, in your everyday life, there will be things that you like and things that you don't like, right? There will be things that you are drawn towards and things that you push away from.
Yes.
So, in creating a future, there's a general rule that I see that applies. A life lived just to get by is not a life worth living, and a life that is filled with excitement, filled with things that light you up, turn you on, and fulfill you, is a risky life. So you will naturally have some natural fear. You know, you have natural fear. you experience natural fear when you create a possibility, and if that possibility is big enough, it'll scare you.
Yeah.
If that possibility is big enough, it'll scare you.
Yeah.
The first thing that will actually come up is, oh no, what if I don't get this?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it'll be so exciting and so juicy and so, filled with energy that you'll go, and you'll do a thing like trying to hold on to it, right? Which is about as useful as trying to hold on to water or air,
Yes, yes.
right? Because it's just a possibility. It's just, it hasn't been created yet. So you say, how do I apply this in my life? I'm distinguishing that there is what I call move away from phenomenon, and then there's what we could call moving toward phenomenon. And they say that the pain pushes until the pleasure pulls. The pain pushes until the pleasure pulls, right? So there are things that pull you towards them. They're pleasurable, they're joyous, and they may be frightening. I think our greatest fear is overwhelming joy and ecstasy. We're terrified of that,
Yeah.
right? Because we have it related to it might go away, or when's it going to end, or anything. So, think about times when you've been extremely happy and excited in your life. What followed that? Usually some anxiety,
Yeah.
right? About it going away or ending,
Yeah.
right? What if we could just be completely fulfilled and then it ended, and then you moved on to the next level, without any fear? You just acknowledge, okay, I have some fear or anxiety, so what, right? That's good. So allowing your fear to be is a very, very important part of what I'm about to say. Mastery, true mastery of life, comes from being able to stand for something. I'm choosing my words carefully. Stand for a possibility in the face of no agreement, and in fact in the face of adversity, and deal with the fear, the discomfort, and the uncertainty, and not move, to stand your ground and to keep standing for what you're standing. Your ability to deal with your discomfort, your anxiety, your uncertainty, and your fear, and to keep standing for what you're standing for, is the difference between those who move away from or those who move towards.
Got it.
Moving away from fear, anxiety, and discomfort. Listen, if your hand's on a hot stove, it might be a good idea. Okay? Might be a good idea to move away from pain. There's certain pain that you should move away from, and you need to learn to distinguish that. But the pain that is generated by you creating a possibility and standing for it in the face of disagreement and uncertainty and no agreement, right? Adversity, people saying you can't do that, this can't be done, or what are you, crazy, are you stupid, that's never going to work, right? And then, people who you're close to, people who you respect, people who come around who, counsel you with their infinite wisdom and tell you, I just want to say that this is never going to work, take my word for it. Those people, right? If you can keep standing for your possibility in the face of all that and never once waver, that is the difference between mastery and true self-power. What they call personal power or self-empowerment. That's the difference. Who's there to empower you when that's happening?
You.
Just you.
Yeah.
Self-empowerment, right? Empowering oneself. Who's authorizing you or giving you the authority to declare this future when everybody says it can't be done?
Just you.
Just you. Self-authorization. You authorize yourself. When people say, who are you to do this, right? You little whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who's there?
You.
Nobody. You have to do it. You and the possibility that you are committed to. Now I need to speak about committed but not attached. Okay? Commitment is not attachment. Attachment will get you killed. It'll kill off your possibility. That's what I mean. When I say get you killed, it'll get you run over. Whereas commitment is causing something to happen no matter what, and then knowing when it's appropriate to retreat and fight another day. Sometimes it's appropriate to step back, say, not today, right?
Yeah.
Here comes a train, you know. I'm getting off these tracks for now, and then going another day. You're committed. Didn't change your mind about it.
Yeah.
You're still going to do it. It's still going to happen. And sometimes you run into obstacles. And what I have learned from running into lots of obstacles is the obstacles even have a lesson. They're like, oh, they're trying to teach me something.
Yeah.
The universe is showing me something.
To serve your future better.
Yeah. It's not trying to stop me. It's trying to show me some things that I might have to deal with in the future, and it's preparing me.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It's just showing me how to stay alive so that I can keep doing that.
Yes.
If you're attached, the train will hit you.
As simple as that.
Right? If you're really attached and like, I'm not letting go of this, right? Then, you know, there are things that can put a stop to that, right? And then that would be your lesson. How do you think I learned these lessons?
Experiencing them?
Yeah, by
one by one.
One by one. By being attached to the outcome of my endeavors. You get attached to the outcome of your endeavors. You say, I'm going to do this no matter what, and you think you're standing for a possibility, but in fact, you're being positional.
Yeah.
You're not taking a stand, you're taking a stance.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Taking a stand is just, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm doing, I'm going, and whatever it comes up, I'm going to deal with it. Taking a stance is like, is just begging for an attack.
Yeah.
You know, it's just asking for it. You become a target. So, committed, not attached. Okay? Part of the lessons that I hope I can save you from having to learn the hard way. Probably not, but hopefully so. So, committed but not attached. You create a possibility, you take a stand for it, and then when, like as you said, it gets hard, you just keep taking your stand. And you notice, I will tell you from my own experience, if you really get honest with yourself and just be present, you'll notice that it is basically a set of body sensations, right?
Yeah.
Anxiety is somewhere in your solar plexus, right? You may feel some dryness in your throat.
Yeah.
Your eyes may be heavy or they may water. You'll feel tingling up and down your spine. You know, now there's several ways to interpret that. One interpretation, which I call disempowering, is let's get out of here and get away from these feelings.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's hide in your bed under
let's
blanket.
Get away from this, or whatever it is. That's move away from. Right? Moving away from. Moving away from is not a good way to create a future. Right? Moving away from is related to survival. Right? Okay? But what if you stood your ground and you go, okay, so if I look around the room right now, I'm feeling all these feelings, but there's the floor, there's the wall, everything's normal, I'm breathing, I have body sensations, let's see, let me check that out. So you go inside, you go, oh wow, man, my heart's beating, I'm feeling all this stuff, right? I'm fearing, maybe tears are coming to my eyes, okay, and you just notice those things, that's all you do. Committed but not attached. I just notice I have a lot of body sensations and it's really scary, and you know, I'm afraid, and you know, my voice is trembling, or whatever's going on for you. Those are all physical manifestations of energy moving, right? Energy's moving, and the future speaks to you in, like I said, goosebumps, chills, heartbeats, all kinds of things, breaking out in sweats. Your body communicates very real things to you. And I say this as a professional dancer and martial artist. I have experienced all of these things, and I've been taught by masters to simply be with them, allow them to be there. And here's the thing that write it down. Anything that you can let be will let you be. If you can let it be, it'll let you be. Just let it be. You know? Listen to Paul McCartney's song, Let It Be. Right?
Yeah.
Just let it be. You'll have fear, you'll have anxiety, you'll have all those kind of body sensations, but if you really look, it's just some body sensations.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, you know, listen, if it if it really is a train coming down the track, get off the tracks. You know what I mean? If there's something really dangerous, but if you're really present and you're just alive and present, those body sensations are usually a signal from your subconscious that there's something that you're unprepared for and you don't know how to do, right? And so it's natural to feel fear. That's actually good news. Your body's working correctly. It's as it should be. You're supposed to have those sensations so that your body gets ready for emergencies and stuff. But our nervous system we're very sophisticated now, but we're built on an old frame. It's like the program that runs our modern brains and our modern nervous systems was built on top of a very primitive, animalistic, survival-based thing. We didn't get rid of it, and that's good because we're still alive, right? If we got rid of that, we would just be eaten, right? And I've talked about that a lot. So we have this animal part of us that is designed to keep us alive and to survive, and that creates all of these body sensations when you get afraid or when you get challenged or when you're facing something new. Basically, they're signals telling you, get ready, prepare, man up or woman up, chi up, as we say in martial arts, chi up, like, you know, get your body full of energy so that you're ready to battle, to fight this new thing. You wouldn't, you know, it's good to be relaxed, but, you know, cheat up. So mastery comes from being able to be with your discomfort in the face of no possibility, in the face of discouragement, and allow those things to be so that they let you be.
Yeah.
And to keep standing for it in spite of, or I won't say in spite because spite sounds like conflicting, but in the face of. You know, just when everybody's saying it can't be done, but you're clear that it's going to be done.
It's gonna be done,
Committed but not attached.
Yeah.
Right? See, if I was attached to flying without any kind of flying device, and I must do it, and I said I'm going to do it, and by gosh, I'm going to do it, and then I went and jumped off the building, I don't think it would work out too well. That would be attached, right? I could be committed to, you can be committed to something that may never happen. I'm committed to a world that works for everyone, regardless of their race, religion, where they were born geographically, male or female. I want it to work for them. I want the world to work. I'm committed to that. And I've demonstrated that I've spent 60 some years of my life doing that, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing it. I'm not going to change my mind about that, and there's a lot of evidence against me that that'll ever happen, right? It doesn't matter one bit to me. What the world is doing has nothing to do with my commitment. My commitment's my commitment. You see, your commitment is your commitment. It's to yourself. And the world could say, no, that's the wrong commitment or whatever, but your commitment's to your commitment. I'm committed to living a happy, healthy, abundant, prosperous life, sharing everything that I can share with people so that they can have that too, and doing whatever I can in whatever domain that it opens itself to me and offers me an opportunity to making a difference for people in their lives. That's just what I'm doing, because what else would I do?
Yeah.
Right? I can't think of anything better to do.
Yeah.
Right? And that I get paid for it and stuff, I'm like, I'm totally happy about that. Right? I'm not attached.
Yeah.
I'm not attached to it. If it doesn't happen, my life won't be over. You know, I won't go to my grave going, oh man, I wasted my whole life trying to change the world and it didn't work. No, I'm not going to even have that thought. It's not going to happen.
A man of character, responsibility, and resourcefulness. Become that man and join us on the journey towards manhood, finding a better person within. Embrace Growth is offering the Honor, Integrity, and Mastery workshop in Toronto, Yerevan, and Los Angeles. Sign up today at embracegrowth.com and see the transformation in your life.
Welcome to the all-new embracegrowth.com. You'll have access to all the content you love at the click of a button. Videos of seminars, events, and the ability to sign up for workshops. Direct access to digital downloads right from your mobile devices. Stay in the know and see our latest graduate events. Watch your favorites anytime, anywhere. Visit us today at embracegrowth.com.
Welcome to the Embrace Growth app. There's a new way to communicate and join in. Create your free account online and sign into the app. Manage your profile on the go and choose between English or Farsi. Register for events and schedule appointments more easily than ever. Stream audio, video, and download books all over Wi-Fi or cellular. Sign up for workshops and seminars right on your phone, and access your audio and video library in the palm of your hand. Take your favorite lessons from Dr. Azita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan with you. Download it today on the App Store. A haven for the weary soul, a source of inspiration and community, redesigned to bring you meaningful experiences and unforgettable events. We are a worldwide community of vibrant individuals, displayed in the people who are a part of it, from many nations, backgrounds, and beliefs. Through powerful outreach programs, the struggles of everyday life are confronted and conquered, transforming those who participate into the best versions of themselves. One-on-one sessions are available to keep you headed in the right direction, coupled with the best resources to remind you how to live, whether at home or elsewhere. Programs designed for men, providing the building blocks of maturity, commitment, integrity, and leadership, paving the way for productive and fulfilling manhood. Beyond an understanding of masculine leadership is its application in daily life and development into something truly unique. Exclusive training for women, encouraging growth and empowerment through an acceptance of their true identities, redefining interactions, and changing the viewpoint through which life is seen. Embracing the woman within and accessing facets of your personality hidden beneath the surface. Showing our youth the value of integrity and reliability by creating an indwelling desire to succeed with honor, basing the future on a solid foundation of ideals that will guide them through life, leading by example, and showing others how to clearly convey their thoughts in a compelling way, creating a culture of mature leaders who can help others achieve self-confidence and their goals. Real people and real lives are changed for the better. With every event, more are touched and come to an understanding of their place in this world and their community. Embrace Growth is run by a passionate team and led by the diligence and inspiration of Dr. Azita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan, who consistently teach life lessons based on what works, rather than the passing fads of the times.